There we go. Good evening. Welcome to I call it business law, the legal environment of business. Colleges, universities usually use those two terms interchangeably. But welcome. I'm glad you're here for Management 12A. I love teaching this class because I feel like, although I've never been a lawyer, I'm not a lawyer. I have done a lot of business. And I feel like this class is an amazing introductory way to start thinking in the legal concepts, but with the very real life perspective of business. And so, although if you were to go to a university and take this class, it's likely that your teacher would be a lawyer, and you'd be doing case studies and a lot of that stuff like I had to do when I took this class. But I take it really practical and really business focused. So I hope it's a useful class for you. I love hearing from students that will transfer to Cal State Fullerton and they'll email me back and say, "Oh my gosh, your 12A class totally prepared me for Cal State Fullerton Business School." And so I love I mean, at the end of this class, I hope you leave and go, "Oh my gosh, Rick was my best teacher ever." That's what I hope, for you coming out of this. So, it's a high expectation, it's a high hope, but, I'd love for you to have a great experience in this class and just learn a ton about real life business and that, umbrella of law that really covers all activities, private or public in business. Tonight, I have kind of three goals for us. First, I want to give you some introductory information about me, just so you know where I'm coming from. Not that I need to pat myself on the back, but I feel like it's useful so that you understand kind of where my perspective is and where my experiences have come from. Second, I want to show you exactly what's required of you in this class, so that you have a clear expectation of what you need to do and where to find the information. Side note, it's pretty simple setup. Thirdly, I want to show you how to succeed. So for you, if that means like you want to get an A because this is a transfer class for you and you want to transfer to UC, I want to be able to show you how to do that. If you are working full time and taking care of family members and have kids at home and work 5 jobs and you just want to pass this class, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So whatever your goals are in this class, I want to help you get there. And again, showing you what that expectation is, show you exactly what you need to get done. So first off, I'll just continue with full screen here, and then we'll do a little bit of screen sharing. I'll show you where stuff is. But I want to give you a little bit of information about me, where I'm coming from. In some way or another, I've been self-employed since I was 18, and so literally the day of my 18th birthday, I started working for myself. And leading up to that, I had practiced a lot and learned kind of some ins and outs of a very particular business. When I turned 18, I was out at restaurants and kids' birthday parties making balloon hats and animals. And it's okay if you chuckle. Big crazy, hats and lots of little animals out of balloons. But I did that for several years while I was in college, and actually for a couple years in my early years of marriage. And it gave a lot of flexibility. It allowed me to go to school and kind of just work on the weekends. And though it's not like a full time income type thing, but it made pretty good money for the hours that I worked on the weekend. Fast forward a little bit, or actually I take it backwards a little bit. Out of high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do, so I landed at Long Beach City College out of high school. For me, looking back, I had some of my best professors at City College, and that's probably why I in some ways, ended up back at the community college myself. I think there's a ton of value that we can bring to you at the community college. I don't think it's less than a university level education, and I've heard from a lot of students, both in some research I've done, but also just in conversation, that students are able to leave and oftentimes leave the community college and get into a better university than you could have otherwise. It actually is a great way to like springboard into that next stage for you, especially at IVC. We have a great support staff, a great system in place for you at IVC. So out of high school, went into community college. Somehow was able to with in the 2 years transfer. I got my undergrad at Biola University. So I've done public, I've done private. I still up till a couple months ago, had debt still from that degree, like, over 20 years ago. So I know what that looks like. I started doing real estate, during the daytime, and did that full time for 9 years. And so, just like you would use an agent to buy or sell a house, I did that with apartment buildings. So, for 9 years, was selling real estate. Some of those years were amazing, and then the Great Recession, some of those years were really hard. And overlapping that, I started teaching part time at nights at at Orange Coast College. And I realized in that experience that I found teaching, just for me personally, just much more fulfilling. And so I decided to shift from full-time business into higher education. And so I was working full-time during the day. I was teaching. I started to teach over that time, teach part-time at nights at OCC. And then I also went into a master's program, an MBA, Cal State Fullerton, 2 nights a week. So a very, very busy couple years, but got through it. Ended up working for a university, a 4-year private university, for 4 years, doing administrative work, campus director, advisor, and still continuing to teach part-time. Ended up after those 4 years at the university, getting this job at IVC full-time teaching, which has been amazing. I'm in my 10th year, and it's been awesome. So I'm coming, to the table with, a lot of business experience, a lot of self-employment experience, a lot of kind of contractual and legalese type experience, even though, again, I'm not a lawyer myself. Being a business owner, having a business, you kind of have to learn, either in school or learn it on your own. Um, and when I teach my classes, whether it's business or it's real estate classes, I try really hard to bring real life into the classroom. So we'll be reading chapters, we'll be learning about concepts and definitions and theories and all that stuff. But I also I want to bring in real life stuff. And so we'll look again, at those experience or at those requirements here in just a minute. But hopefully that gives you a little bit of perspective on me. As an adult, I've got 4 kids. Two are in their 30s, 31, both of them right now. And then I have two younger kids that are 12 and 13. I have number 6 and number 7 grandchildren that are in utero right now, from the older girls. And all 4 of my kids are adopted. So, oh, and then I forgot to mention too, I'm the first person in my family to go to college. And so, even to date, to go to Long Beach City College and to graduate with a degree, I'm the first person in my family. I have 3 older sisters, and I don't even know how many nieces and nephews offhand. But, and then to be able to get a master's degree in business, and then I completed my doctorate degree in organizational behavior as well, organizational leadership. So that's a little bit of info on me. I hope coming out of this class that you have a great experience. I want this to be a good experience for you. I want you to leave feeling like you learned something real and of use for you. This is not just about busy work and trying to get an A. Although I understand that grades are important for a lot of you. So again, I'll show you exactly how to get that done tonight as well. All right. Well, yeah, that's a little bit about me. I will jump into screen sharing, a little bit of screen share here. I want to first look at the requirements for the class. And so let's first open up Canvas, and I want you to see exactly what that looks like on your end. So we're looking at the student view here. So this should look pretty similar to what you'll see on your end. Notice on the left side, I have a very, very simple layout. This doesn't make it easy or broken. It's just simple. So here's our homepage right here. There's a couple links in here that I've kept on here for use for you. One is the syllabus, and we'll look at that tonight. Here's the Zoom link. We're on it right now. If you want to do or come see me during office hours, I'm on campus sitting in my desk from 1 to 3 on Tuesdays. And then on Wednesday, 10 to 1, I'm in Zoom. So if there's something pressing or you want to just like have a conversation with me, feel free to jump into one of those. I have a lot of students that will often email me and say, "Hey, Rick, I work full time, and there's no way I can just be on Zoom during those hours." No problem. Do please email me. Email is going to be the fastest way I can respond. I think a lot of that coming from being self-employed for so long, I'm usually really quick to reply via email. And I often am checking my email pretty regularly. So I don't know, if a lot of teachers do that, but I'll be up at 10, 11 at night and I'll have an, reply back to a student. They're like, "What are you doing checking your email?" That's just kind of how I do it. Um, but yeah, anyways, so I'm available to you. If you want to speak in person, you want to kind of have a face to face, but can't make it during one of these hours, that's okay too. Just send me an email and say, "Hey, Rick, I've got lunch on Thursday at 4 p.m. Can we chat? And if I'm available, I'm happy to meet with you. So please, you see my email address here. I know some students use the messaging within Canvas, and that's okay too. I've found that if you're emailing me directly and I reply back to you, and then you reply back to me, and then I reply back to you, if we're doing that via email with whatever app you're using on your phone or your tablet or computer, that creates a thread of conversation, which is sometimes useful to go back and reference. If you're using the inbox in Canvas, we don't get that thread. So personally, I don't care how you message me. This comes to my email and this comes to my email. But if you want to message me and kind of continue a conversation, email might be a little bit better, direct email, a little bit better of a resource for that communication. So here's my information, how to get a hold of me. Um, on this home page is basically every assignment that we have in the class for the next 4 months. So this might look very overwhelming to you. You don't have to look at this. You can close your eyes right now. And I'll show you where else to get the information. This kind of assignment or schedule is also found in the syllabus. We'll look at that. I also have an announcements tab if you want to refer back to announcements. I also have a modules tab. So this is really where the heart of the class lives and all the content. This is an asynchronous class, so I can't require you to be online at a specific day and time. And so I have a lot of videos and a lot of links posted in the modules tab. We'll check that out. I'm going to pause myself and let you know if you are new to Canvas, if you are new to using Canvas at IVC, please do go to your account right here. I'll click in and then come back. There's a button here called notifications. And in this notifications tab, you get to control how you get information. So if you want it via email, if you want it via text, if you want it at, when it happens, when the grade changes, or when I send the announcement, or you want it maybe at the end of the day, or you want it at the end of the week, or whatever that is, you get to control all of that in your notifications. So if you haven't done that, or if you're a new student, please do go in and click through those notifications so that you're getting the information that you need, not just from my class, but from any other class you might be taking at IVC. Here is our modules. And with that notifications, right? My primary means of communication out to you will be through the announcements. You've already gotten a couple for like when the class opened on Monday morning, week 1. For today, you're going to get another one tomorrow that says, "Hey, the recording is posted." And then I'm going to lighten up. After that, pretty much regularly on Monday mornings, I'll send out an announcement just reminding you of what you need to get done that week. And I also have that same schedule posted here in the modules. So you'll see here, week 1, we're talking about the foundations. Here's a syllabus review that I did for last semester. If you're anxious to get in there and see it, but basically I'm kind of giving you the same information now live, or if you're watching this recording, I'll replace this link when that recording is done. Here you'll see that as a reminder to purchase your Connect Access. McGraw-Hill, we'll look at that tonight as well. Here's the link that we're going to be using as a virtual book, a digital book. And in this system, you will be taking quizzes and your exams in this system and your reading, which I give you points for. You'll see. And then here you'll see, and this is going to be a consistent kind of format through the rest of the weekly modules. Here is your a chapter 1 lecture, a video lecture of me. This will link you to YouTube. You can watch it as many times as you want. You can pause it, come back to it. And what I like to do in my lectures is, again, take that theory that's covered in the chapter and kind of pull out some of the high points and give you just some real life perspective of what is being covered in that chapter. I have pretty much every week a discussion for you. The discussion, and we'll look at the points in a bit, but the discussion has you make an initial post by Thursday of every week. And then you're going to be responding to at least 2 of your classmates by Sunday of every week. And so that gives you a total of 10 points. There's a description in here of what's required of you. I'll say quality over quantity. Sometimes I feel like students get in here and they feel like they have to respond to 10 different people. We have 60 people in our class. So you do not have to respond to 10 people. It can be just two. But with that being said, those two people, like, think about having a conversation with them, right? If you meet somebody or you're talking in the classroom and you say something like, I agree, well, that's not much of a conversation, right? I'm looking for a couple sentences of you, kind of an interaction again, with your classmates. There is a rubric that I have here. Let's see if that opens on my screen for you. I have to download it. I have it posted on another discussion. I'll show you in a sec. So pretty much again, every week we have a discussion. Here's a lecture video, discussion. Here is your reading, the smart book in McGraw-Hill Connect. I love the access on this. You can do it on your computer, tablet, phone, whatever smart device you have that has the internet. You can get to this content. One of the other big things I'll say about this McGraw-Hill Connect access, again, you'll buy it here. If you have bookstore credit or any credit at IVC, you can buy a card through the bookstore on campus to get this access as well if you have credit. If you're going to be paying cash, but maybe you don't have cash right now, please don't let that stop you from getting started. You'll see in this, you have the option when you're signing in and logging in and connecting to this book, this digital book, there is a 2-week trial available. That allows you to get going in weeks 1 and 2. Don't get behind in the first 2 weeks of class, and then pay as that 2 weeks expires. So don't let money be a stall for you to get going in your work. But here's our week 1. This is what you got to do. Discussion. This is technically due on Thursday night. Week 1, I give a little grace. If you've never used McGraw-Hill Connect or you've never taken a business class at IVC, most business classes use this system. There is a SmartBook how-to. This shows you how to use that SmartBook tool, which is basically how to read and then how you're going to get points for that reading, because I'm giving you points for doing your reading. So if you've never done SmartBook, you've never done McGraw-Hill Connect, please do watch this. There's no points, but it gives you some insight into how to use the system. And then just to kind of show you that consistency, here's week 2. Lecture videos, discussion board, exercise. I'll explain that in a sec. SmartBook reading, chapter quiz. The exercise is something I've put together, again, outside of my lectures, adding some real life perspective to the chapter content. I also have you doing exercises, not every week, but most, that again gives you a little bit of real life perspective and a real life scenario that relates to some of the concepts that you're learning in the chapter. Again, I want this class to be purposeful. And when I want you to leave, I want you to understand oh, that's how that works. So I want to bring in that real life for you. Week 3, we've got the lecture videos, the discussion board, the exercise, your SmartBook reading, and your quiz. So you'll see, again, very simple layout, but purposeful and consistent there. You can scroll through all of it if you want, right? I'm not going to do that right now. Hopefully that gives you a really clear picture, particularly here for week 1. You're new to all of this. You're new to me. What am I supposed to be doing right now? Here it is, week 1 foundations class, or week 1 foundations assignments, this module, week 1. Of course, your grades, you can go check your grades. McGraw-Hill Connect access. Oh, I skipped over something. Let me come back to that a second. The discussion, I wanted to see if I could show you the rubric. Is there no content here? That's so weird. Huh. I'll have to check that. That's so strange. I did. It took me several minutes to get logged on tonight too, so I think my computer might be wanting to update and restart or something. So I might just be having a little bit of personal technical issues right now. Yeah, this is on my end. Oh, the topic's locked. I'm in student view right now. That's why we can't see it. Anyways, so in these discussion boards, there's a rubric that shows you basically what I'm looking for you to do is your initial post by Thursday nights, basically 3 to 4 well-written sentences. All of my discussions, there is no wrong answer. I'm giving you in week 1, I'm just having you introduce yourself. But when we see week 3 and we're talking about regulation and regulation on business, I'm asking you a question. There's no right or wrong answer. I'm asking you a question and I'm asking you to support your answer. So, what I love about this is that you have to learn enough about this concept in the question that I ask you to be able to answer for yourself and then to be able to support that answer. I think it should be this because, and there's your 3 to 4 sentences. And then uh, it could be before Thursday, but by Sunday, you'll be responding to 2 other classmates. And again, the idea there is that you're having a conversation just like we were standing in class. And you're another maybe 3 to 4 sentences there to have that discussion. So I do have those laid out in points when we look at the rubric, just so you kind of know what to expect a little bit. All right, let me just check the chat real quick. I see a couple pop up items. As a way to reword it, we get points for doing the assignment that comes with the reading. Yes, and so it is set up automatically for you in that week period. So again, I'm giving you pretty much a week to do every assignment. Um, in the reading, the smart book, the assigned smart book chapter reading, it's called smart book. So when you read and use that smart book system and you complete it, it's going to be giving you those points. If you don't know how to earn, I have had students go through and they read it and they go, "Oh, it didn't give me the points." I said, "Well, the smart book system, like you're not using it properly, right?" So if you're reading a hard copy book, like that's not going to read it in SmartBook on the computer. So if you haven't ever done it, please do watch that tutorial, that SmartBook tutorial. Oh, and somebody posted, thank you so much for that. The discussion board rubric in the chat, if you want to check that out there. Look at you go. That's an awesome. Thank you for doing that. It's thoughtful. So that's a real quick overview of um, of the Canvas page and where everything is at on Canvas. My contact info, my Zoom room, hours you can reach me. Again, please email for the fastest response, and then we can also meet live or chat live. And then here's the syllabus. We're going to go over that next. So far, I've told you about me. I have told you a little bit about your expectations and what's required of you in this class. And this next piece, I'm going to build on that a little bit more, but also show you exactly how to meet your goals. Again, if your goal is to get an A in here, I want to show you how to do that. Again, if any questions come up as I'm chatting or as I'm talking, please use that chat function. And then towards the end, we can do some more Q&A. All right, so let's check out the syllabus. I'm going to look at the syllabus backwards. So let me scroll through this real quick. Sorry if it makes you dizzy. We're going to go to the end. And in the end, this as a student, this is like the page that I love. Um, However you learn, I'm trying to give this in a lot of different ways, right? On Canvas, it's scheduled. I'm giving you weekly modules. Here's everything in one page, basically. But this gives you a rough idea. Well, not a rough idea, a specific idea of our scheduling for the dates and the weeks of our work, and then the chapters that we're covering. I don't have every assignment listed here again, but that's all scheduled out right now live in Canvas. You can go see it all. I work really hard at the beginning of these classes to make sure everything's aligned. I'm not perfect, but I work really hard to try to get everything in there up front so you know exactly what's available to you, exactly what's required of you from the start. So we cover basically a chapter a week. There's 1 week in here where we double up on a chapter. These 2 chapters, there's a lot of overlap. And so I kind of have those 2 together. You'll see that for exams, I do not have a traditional midterm and final. My exams are also not cumulative. So you'll see here in exam 1, chapters 1 through 5, exam 2, 6 through 15, exam 3 at the end of the class, but only covering chapters 17 through 24. I've done this purposely because I feel like, especially for testing, students get nervous. There's test anxiety, there's technical issues. Um, Over the years of teaching this class, I've tried to develop a kind of a point system and structure so that, if you're not a great test taker, here's some more opportunities for you to earn points in those exams. Maybe you don't do great on all of the exams. Well, there's a lot of other ways to earn points, and we'll talk about that in a sec. But here's the schedule as we're laid out. Again, we are an async online class. So all of this work, this reading, the chapters, all that's going to be due on the Sunday of that week. You'll notice on the exams, I give you a 3-day window in those weeks. I give you reminder announcements on those. This one's a Friday to Sunday. This one's a Friday to Sunday. So I'm giving you a window of time. And with that, I'm giving you a lot of flexibility. So if you're busy, you have a lot of requirements on your time, I'm giving you this window of time to get this work done. That said, I, I'm not your mom, right? And so you have to take responsibility for yourself, your own scheduling for that, and when you're going to be getting those done. I don't accept late work. So because I give so much flexibility in this system that I've created in the class, I'm a little bit more rigid on these timelines because you have a week to get it done. So, don't wait till Sunday at 10 p.m. to try to get all your stuff done because that's the night you're going to get sick or your computer crashes or something, right? So try to be mindful of your time commitments as you're going through for this class and, of course, your other classes too. Here are the points. In this system that I've created for this class, you'll see that I've also really worked hard to diversify the points. What I've learned in business, for most jobs, for most people working in business, if you're showing up every day and you show up on time and you get your stuff done, you're going to be in pretty good shape, right? And so I've tried to build the class requirements like that business environment. So I'll go over a couple of those requirements. Chapter assignments, that's your reading. There's 18 chapters, 8 points each. That's 17% of your grade just by doing your reading on time using the SmartBook tool. Chapter quizzes, 18 of them, 8 points each. That's another 17% of your grade is on chapter quizzes. Again, if you're showing up every week getting that stuff done, we're talking about 30, what is that, 34% of your grade right there? You have total control over that so long as you're managing your time, right? Also, on these quizzes, in the week that they're assigned, you can take them multiple times, and the system is going to keep your highest score. So, if your goal is to get an A in this class, this is one easy way. It will take time, right? There's a time commitment there, but this is one way that you have total control over where you can earn the highest possible points, taking those quizzes over and over again, and just doing your reading. So, that's a huge opportunity. Again, showing up, pretty much showing up, getting your stuff done. The exercises, here's another time element to this, right? But these exercises are not meant to be hard. I give very clear directions and steps on what to do in these exercises. And so they're laid out pretty clearly. And again, it just comes down to time management, turning them in, before Sunday, 11:59 p.m. That's another 16% of your grade. Discussions and participation. Again, the discussion boards that we have laid out almost every week. Those discussions, you have control over that, right? With your time commitment, 10 points each, that's another 16%. So you can see right off the bat, if you show up and get all of your stuff done in this class, I'm not asking you to be perfect, right? But if you're showing up and getting your stuff done and you take no exams, you're already at a 68%. That's a D, right? I'm expecting you to take the exams. But you can see that you don't have to get an A on every exam to get an A in this class. If you're doing your stuff, you can actually walk away and not have, perfect exam scores, but, potentially still able to earn an A. And so I'm hoping that you're seeing this kind of this opportunity, right? And like I call it, it's like a diversity, right? Maybe you're not a strong test taker. Maybe you're an okay test taker, but you're super busy during the week. Well, you can control your time commitment, right? And maybe you focus more on studying for exams and taking the exams versus, the weekly work, if that's a priority for you. Again, maybe your goal is just to pass the class with a C because you are slammed and you got 24 units and kids at home and whatever else. Then I want to help you do that. Hopefully, this gives you a clear picture of how you can accomplish that passing score. All right, no chat questions. I'm going to move on. This just gives you a brief description of these different kind of categories of assignments. So your exams, just a description of what that looks like. You'll only have one chance at those exams, and those exams are timed. If by chance you happen to have an accommodation letter or something, please do send that to me. Most students that have any type of accommodation usually revolves around time on exams. And so basically, these exams are the only ones that would be affected because your chapter quizzes, I allow you to take them over and over again within the week. There's no timing on those. And all of these other assignments are basically, a week long timeline for you to work on. Exercises and discussions, again, you can read through this, but I just talked about it a little bit. I will make the note here though, in Canvas, I cannot see pages files. That's not a me PC thing, that's a Canvas system thing. And so I ask and I tell you in every assignment, please upload a PDF or a Word doc. If you have a Google Doc, there is a function in there to be able to upload or save as a PDF or a doc format. There is a function in Canvas that also allows you to copy and paste text. But what I've found is it's really difficult from the student perspective too. It's really difficult to kind of manage that text once you paste it in. So if you have the ability, even if you don't have a computer, but you have a smartphone or a tablet, you can use Office 365. You have free access to that as an IVC student, and then be able to upload those files into Canvas. Is the smart book an additional cost on top of purchasing Connect? No. So your purchase of Connect, again, if you're paying cash, right, you don't have any IVC, bookstore credit or anything. If you're buying direct and you're going to buy it, the easiest, fastest way is in this Canvas system. I showed you that menu button that was on the left. When you access that Connect system, I think it's about $50. But again, you can start with a free 2-week trial. That smart book, the quiz, the exams, all those functions are inside of that Connect system, just with that one cost. Good question. Uh, again, moving on with the syllabus here, we have a description about the quizzes. Again, I just talked about them, but you can come back and reference. And the homework, Connect assignments, and smart book, you can read a description there. Note again, I don't take late work. So, I mean, if you get hospitalized and you have a letter from the doctor saying that you were incapacitated, I don't want to see your medical files or anything, right? But the doctor would usually give you a note that says you're excused from school or something, right? For a certain range of dates. Let me know what's going on. I'm happy to chat with you and troubleshoot with you. But I've seen so many times where students get behind, maybe, and they get so focused on trying to make up work or do extra credit that the work in the current week goes downhill. And then the next week, they're still looking back 3 weeks, right? And so they're like continuing to not be successful because they're looking backwards. So at least for my class, I've really seen students do better, honestly, especially with this kind of diversity of points, to make sure you're nailing what's due this week and not focus so much on the past, right? But if you're in a predicament, if you've got stuff going on and you're challenged with getting the work done or you're having issues, please reach out to me so we can have a conversation. Um, Oftentimes I can just kind of help guide you like, hey, here's what I would, if I were you, here's what I would do. Here's what I suggest you focus on and how to move forward. And again, because everything is not dependent on one thing, it's not all exams, it's not all quizzes. There's a lot of opportunity to earn those points in the class here. You'll see the grading policy. This is not me. This is the IVC standard. At the end of every semester, I always look through the whole class's grade. And in my kind of norm, it ends up being usually about half the class gets A's. And so sometimes I'll have students who are like, oh, I got an 89%. Can you round me up? I I don't. It. Can you imagine if I picked one of you guys off the list and I was like, hey, I'm going to take a couple points off of you? Like, that would be crazy, right? So in the same way, I don't hand select individual students and say, "Oh, I'm gonna give you extra points." I hope that makes sense. So I'm not involving myself in kind of adjusting scores, if you will. I'm giving you, just like in the real world, just like in business, I'm giving you control over your grades and I'm showing you exactly how to get those points. At the end of the class, if you have an 89%, you can see what letter grade that is, right? And so, if you have things that come up along the way, again, like in week 6 and week 8, please reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. After the final happens and you're like, "Oh my goodness, I really need an A in this class." Like, there's nothing I can do at that point. I mean, that's just fairness to me. I'm gonna treat you all the same. I'm gonna give you all the same opportunities here and show you how to get it done. That being said, if 3/4 of you get an A in this class, I mean, that's awesome, right? That can happen. You're not gonna see that at a 4-year university. Side note, just so you know. I remember being in my MBA program at Cal State Fullerton, and I was like, "Teacher, I need to get an A in this class. How do I get an A in this class?" He goes, "Work really hard." I say, "Okay, but show me exactly what I gotta do." He's like, "You just have to work really hard, and then you'll get whatever grade you get." And I was like, how does that make sense?" He said, "I'm only allowed to give 5 A's." And I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "There's 30 students in this class. I can only give out 5 A's. So the top 5 scores are going to get A's. And even if you do every single assignment nearly perfect, if you're 6th on the list, you get a B." And I was like, that doesn't make sense to me at all. But a lot of 4-year universities work like that because the university sees it. If half the students get an A, then it's too easy. And so they have standards on kind of that distribution of letter grades. We don't have that at IVC at the community college system. We don't. I've never heard of that happening. So here's a very clear picture of what you need to do to get the grade you want, and it's on you to do that work. IVC has an amazing set of support for students. I have a couple things listed here. There's even more, I'm sure, that I don't have listed here. The IVC website. If you're having any challenges with your learning, if you have any challenges with like you don't have food for the week, there's a food bank on campus. There's a vet center on campus. The student union has a lot of resources available to it. I think they even have like extra clothes on campus, like if you need a pair of clothes. And really timely, I guess, and in this kind of mindset, right, with so much happening in LA, and people like losing their homes and all of their belongings and stuff like that. We really look to support our students at the college. We have a great student support system in place. All that to say, if you're having a challenge in any way, please reach out, let me know. I'll do whatever I can to help you out. If you don't want to come to me, that's okay too. There's a bunch of phone numbers, a bunch of links that are available here in the syllabus. Also, again, on the IVC website. Computers, Wi-Fi hotspots. Like I've heard of a lot of things that the college has done to help students. So let us know if you're challenged in your learning. Um, Basically, if you haven't caught it already, here's a quick review. We're using 2 systems in this class. One, we've already looked at Canvas. You've seen that's where the weekly modules are. That's where the links are for your assignments, your reading, your quizzes, your exercises. The discussion boards are all in Canvas. And then your book, your virtual book, quiz tool, smart reading, and exams are all done in McGraw-Hill Connect. That's the second system. You'll see that information here. I'll show you again where this is at in Connect before we're done, but just know that you'll have to be in both of those systems. Both of these systems are mobile friendly. I do have students, although it would be hard for me to do it, but I've had students take all my whole class on their phone. So I've really worked hard to try to keep things very accessible, if that's the right word, but just you can access the information in a lot of different ways here. Hopefully that's helpful to you. Some general guidelines for the class. We're going to do honest. We're all going to do our own work. The college has some policies around that. Here's some information on the book itself. I mentioned again here, hard copy textbook, totally optional. If you want to hold a book and open it and read it, the IVC bookstore usually has a loose leaf version of this book. So it's not like bound, but it's like a loose leaf version. It's cheaper. And with the code to access Connect. So again, if you're going to use the bookstore or you want to have some sort of hard copy in hand in addition to the online Connect access, you can get that from the bookstore. Here's the Connect access required. Here's a couple links of those tools I mentioned already. But the Student Success Center, again, resources available to you, uh, free Adobe, which is pretty much free anyway. Microsoft Office, again, being a student, you have Word, PowerPoint, all those tools available to you online to help you in your work. Drop policy. I put this in here after week 1. If you don't show up week 1 and I don't see you logged into Canvas, I have to drop you by law. If you no show in week 1, I have to drop you. If after week 1 you're in this class, I will never drop you. The reason I do that is because I've had more bad experiences trying to stay on students like, hey, you missed 2 weeks of work. I'm going to drop you. No matter what I've done in the past, when it comes time to click that button to drop a student, I always get an email back that says, please don't drop me. I really want to finish the class. So I have a straight blanket policy. I do not drop anyone. So if at the end of the semester you stop doing your work and that percentage at the end of the semester is an F, you're going to get an F. If you are going to simply stop doing your work, please, please, please drop the class. I learned this the hard way. After getting my bachelor's degree and after getting married, I realized I wanted to take a welding class at OCC. I want to learn to weld. That sounds cool. Started going to classes, and then got really busy at work and at home and all that stuff, right? Stopped going to class. When it came time for me to transfer and try to enter my MBA program at Cal State Fullerton, they said, hey, why do you have an F in welding? And I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? So I had to go jump through a whole bunch of hoops to try to get that F gone. All that to say, if you're going to stop doing the work in this class, please do drop. But if you're having challenges, please let me know. Sometimes it feels overwhelming and like you can't catch up. And maybe you can't, right? But sometimes talking through that and I can give you some advice. Oh, here's what you should be working on right now. Just giving you a little bit of clarity, I think, in that moment has helped a lot of students in the past. So if you're having challenges, please give me a heads up. I'm glad to help talk through things and try to figure things out with you. We're fully online. No surprise. Here's our outcomes that you are going to get from the class and a course description. Here's a bunch of contact information. Again, my hours. This is in Canvas. You've already seen it. I try to be a little helpful with dates, again, regarding like dropping stuff. Please do confirm these if you're actually in the position where you have to drop. But that's all there just to hopefully be a resource and help for you. So that's the syllabus. I'm going to come back to the Canvas page. I've got 13 minutes left on my clock. Oh, here's your discussions. I'm like, why did it come to this page? It's weird. I wanted to show you the McGraw-Hill Connect. So here is the quick and easy way for you to get access. When you're completing the assignments in the system, those points will automatically come to your gradebook in Canvas. If you buy an access code through the bookstore, with the booklet, without the booklet, you have credit, however you want to do that. If you're getting Connect a little card with a code on it, and you come into the system, they give you a spot to enter that code. I don't know if this is going to work because I'm not a real student. Yeah. You will see the option to either enter a code here or pay cash or take the 2-week free trial. So please do get in here as soon as you can to get access into that system so you can get going this week, start on the right foot in week 1. If you have, so if you buy a code from the bookstore, still do use this link. And that way you're connecting the McGraw-Hill Connect system and our Canvas class so that your points are talking to the gradebook here. If you go onto the generic website, there's other multiple steps to make that connection happen. So whether you're buying cash, doing a free 2-week trial, have a code from the bookstore, please use this link in Connect. Please use this link in Canvas to get into the Connect system and connect those two systems together for this class. I think I went through kind of fast, but I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. So I don't want to just ramble for no reason. I want to make sure I answer all of your questions. So before I wrap up, please do, if you have questions, please use the chat. And then in just a couple minutes here, I'll go ahead and stop the recording. And then we can have a conversation or answer any other questions you might have. I'm hoping, hearing from me and about a little bit about my experience, I'm hoping that can give you a little bit of kind of background where I'm coming from and my hopes for you in this class, my hopes for me as a teacher at our college. Um, I hope you have a very clear perspective on what you need to do in this class, what's expected of you in this class. And again, with our simple menu here, basically modules is your key place. You'll see all of our weekly modules set up in here. If something doesn't work, please let me know. But everything should be pretty good and scheduled out. If your goal is to get an A or just a pass, I'm hoping you saw a clear picture in that syllabus on how to earn points, and I hope that you're seeing that there's a lot of emphasis here on basically you just showing up and getting your normal stuff done. And I understand that you have other classes and other classes where you just have to get your stuff done, right? But I'm hoping that with this kind of again diversity of points, that you can use these different ways to earn those points, and it's not too much of a stress to like have to get an A on the exam to get an A in the class. So again, those were my 3 goals for us tonight on this Zoom. I see a chat here. I just want to say thank you for the clear explanations. You're very welcome. I hope it was clear. Um, awesome, awesome. You feel more confident in understanding applying the material after tonight's meeting. That is awesome. That's exactly why I'm here, and I'm glad you made the priority to come to hear this too. Again, I will post this video. It should be live by tomorrow morning. So if you wanted to come and rewatch something and you're like, wait, what did he say about that thing about Canvas and the syllabus? Come back and rewatch it. Um, if it's not self-explanatory in the system. Again, please feel free. If you have a question, please feel free to email me. That's my job, is to help you succeed, to help you learn. That's my whole job. That's one of the other awesome things at the community college. I don't have to publish. I don't have to get a doctorate, although I mean it's great to have one. But I don't have to be researching, which at the 4-year universities are all required of your teachers. And so you might have a great researcher but a horrible teacher. Um, our whole job here at the community college is to help you learn. So that's a huge, I love that perspective. And the fact that everybody gets the same access, like, you have a good teacher. Like, if you have a lot of money, you have no money. Like, everybody has the access to that great teacher. Awesome. Awesome. Just another comment in the chat. I'm glad it was a purposeful meeting. I'm glad you found, clarity in coming tonight. Or if you know somebody else in the class too, let them know, hey, the video is great. Go watch it. And I'll send an announcement after it's posted. I don't see any other chats, so I'm going to go ahead and end the recording here, and then I'll stay on for a few more minutes here till 8, and that way I can answer any additional questions if you want to just talk live. Appreciate your commitment to the class and to being here tonight, and have a good rest of the week.